I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into a powerful book that is called You Own Me by Susan Shumaker. It is a gripping tale where solitude meets obsession and identities are as murky as the past. This novel takes us into the heart of a young woman's quest for a fresh start, entangling lives in a web of love, obsession, and secrets. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. So good to see you here today on Spotlight, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Loved your book. Reminded me a little bit of Alice Hoffman and her work. Tell us, let's give the folks at home an overview of what the story is about.
Okay. I'm going to talk the big plot. There's an awfully lot going on under the scenes, but I'm just going to talk about the big overriding plot. A young
Sure.
American lady leaves the U.S. for England. She wants a fresh start. She's obviously running from something or to something. We're not sure. Did something happen to her? Did she do something to someone else? But she needs a fresh start. She is very fearful. She brings with her paranoia, emotional issues, memory issues, maybe even mental issues. And she purchases a bookshop in a small village. A flat is above, so she can stay in. She only goes out when absolutely necessary. She wants solitude, she thinks.
Mhm.
The villagers don't necessarily want to give her that solitude. There are two main male characters that drive the plot as well. The first one is a young man who's used to having his way with women around town, and he is very baffled when she wants nothing to do with him. Now, she wants nothing to do with anybody, but he's self-centered. He doesn't see that. He just knows she wants nothing to do with him. The other man who drives the plot has more sinister motives. He is obsessed with her, and he has his own reasons for choosing her. But the obsession turns into drama, turns into danger.
Mm. It's a great story. Did you model the character of Katie after anybody you know?
I would say no. I've been asked if I modeled her after me, and I thought I certainly hope not, because she's a estranged, rather damaged young lady at the start.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't ask you that question. That's for sure. And David and Duncan, of course, are the other two complex characters.
Mhm.
Again, purely out of your imagination or kind of loosely based on types and characters you've known in the past?
Well, you just see that where men are sometimes in competition for
Mhm.
the same woman, the same things, but what's going to win out? The loyalty, their friendship, and how they handle that, I think, was a very important underlying part of the book, how they handle their relationship with each other when Katie enters the scene.
And talk to me a little bit about Sidney Crane. Sidney is described as a lost soul.
Mhm.
Tell us
And
about that.
we find out as he enters exactly, not exactly, basically why he is lost. Um, he just wants to be part of Katie's life for all the wrong reasons. He at first is just, he wants to be close to her. He wants
Mhm.
to spend time in her shop. And it escalates. And it escalates to the point that now he has become, he adds suspense to the story, certainly, but he has become a danger to her. And not only her, now she has finally made friends in the village, and they are all at peril because of this man.
Tell us a little bit about the setting. Is it a real town? Is it a imagined town? And why did you set it in a town like that?
Some of both. There is a town named Rye, England. I have not been. I have been to England twice. I love it. I would love to go back and spend a lot of time there. And I just love all things British. So it was just a fun scene for me that I could learn. You're supposed to write about what you know about. Well, I am certainly not an expert on England. So it called for a lot of research. And that was a very fun part of this whole thing is what I did learn about England and about this made up town that is loosely based on Rye, England.
Your book navigates the fine line between infatuation and obsession. Is there something you hope readers take away from these intense emotional aspects and landscapes?
What I really hope they take away is she comes with so much fear and paranoia, and then more is interjected because of this infatuation and obsession. But you just have to face it. You have to face your fears. You have to and make connections and help and have people in your life that will help you face your fears so that when something like infatuation goes over the line and becomes fearful, you are ready to meet it.
Yeah. You Own Me has been praised for its deep psychological insights. Tell us a little bit about the research that went into having these psychological aspects as part of your characters.
Okay. Um, Katie comes with problems, and we don't know, the reader does not know at the start what these problems are, but she has people helping her. She doesn't always know exactly how much people are helping her. A lot is hidden from her. And she has doctors that are helping her with her psychological problems that she doesn't even admit to having. Obviously, something has happened to her. We aren't sure. Is she hiding it? Did she really forget it? What exactly is in her head? The psychological problems, on the other hand, and with the man who is obsessed with her, we only know of a traumatic event that happened in his life that we assume is what kind of put him over the edge, where Katie comes with so much baggage that people have tried and tried to really help her face it. And that's her main problem. She's refusing to face whatever it is, this baggage that she's bringing with her.
You seem to have this writing stuff down. Is this your first book, or have you written other books? Tell us a little bit about your career as a writer.
Well, this is my first book. I'm a math teacher by profession. So people are a bit surprised to hear I've written a book. People were very surprised because I really only told those who were helping me and my family. So it's really quite out of my usual, quite out of my comfort zone. But it's been a very good experience.
Yeah, and you have an analytical approach to writing, I think, that is reflected in your math background, perhaps.
Um,
You know,
mhm.
could be. You never know. Have you thought about this as a movie or a TV series, perhaps?
Well, my inspiration was actually British television.
Hmm.
So, and I tend to sit and watch, and I like British television because I think it's gentler. There's still sex, there's still violence, there's still murder, but it's not so in your face. It's left to the imagination, and I enjoy that. And I see myself as I watch TV. I don't watch a lot, but when I do, I tend to sit there and make up my own episodes. Oh, yeah, I can kind of see this as episodes in a television show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree with you. In American TV, unfortunately, everything is solved through some kind of like great big event, like somebody getting shot or the person getting killed or, something like that, where, life doesn't really unfold like that in
Mhm.
most cases. So
Mhm.
I do think the realistic portrayal that you have in your book and the realistic portrayals that you have in BBC TV do go hand in hand. Any idea who would play Katie?
Ah, no, I haven't thought that far ahead,
Yeah.
certainly.
My lexicon of British actresses is not great, so I couldn't tell you. My go-to for all strong women, though, who've got multi sides, is Jennifer Lawrence. So if you're
Uh-huh.
going to film it here in the U.S., I would say, how about her?
Well,
Without a
thank you for
doubt.
that advice.
Sure. Are you thinking about writing a sequel? Are you thinking about writing another book? Have you gotten the bug yet?
Well, I like character-driven books. That's what I read. I want a good plot. I like the mystery, but I want the books to be character-driven. I know exactly where these characters go from here.
Mhm.
So it's 90% in my head and 50% on about 5%, excuse me, on the computer. Where it goes from here, I'm not sure. I am still in the thick of this and deciding how where it all goes from here.
Gotcha. So there could be a sequel in the makings. At least it's making up here right now, right?
That is true.
Okay, sounds great. The name of the book is You Own Me by Susan Shumaker. It is a gripping tale where solitude meets obsession and identities are as murky as the past. This book takes us into the heart of a young woman's quest for a fresh start, entangling lives in a web of love, obsession, and secrets. It's a terrific read. You won't want to put it down. I
Thank
know
you.
I did not, that's for sure. Susan, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.